So a very warm good afternoon to everyone who are present here. My name is Taranjeet Singh Nishaban. I am your today's co-host. I would like to extend my warm welcome to all present here for this webinar entitled Mahatma Gandhi's Thought on Health and Nutrition, organized by Didi Saksham. So moving ahead, Didi Saksham is initiative of Teams Welfare Foundation and has developed content for over 300 courses in multiple languages, which ranges from 4 hours to 6 months for all age groups from school, children, youth, professional to senior citizen with over 6,000 training day till date. So in various sectors, we have like technology, science, IT, healthcare, finance, and many more. So moving ahead in this event, so Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was an Indian lawyer, anti-colonial nationalist, and political atheist who employed non-violent resistance to lead the successful campaign for India's independence from British rule and in turn inspired movements for civil rights and freedom across the world. Today, Dr. Ranjan Velkar sir will be guiding us on the topic of Mahatma Gandhi's thought on health and nutrition. So, about our speaker, Dr. Ranjan sir has more than 35 years of experience with the Indian higher education system as a teacher, development leader, quality innovator, technology adopter, administrator, and policy advisor. A passion to make a difference to the lives of students and learners through involvement as a policy and opinion leader, as well as implementing development initiatives, has made him a known higher educational professional. He held various positions, which include vice chancellorship, directorship, secretarial positions in the government, Asia-wide officer role, membership of numerous committees, associations, and bodies across the globe. I will request everyone to please welcome Sir. Sir, we have participants from India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, and many more. So now over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste. Good morning, every one of you. And at the outset, I must thank the organizer, Tarandeep ji, and all the organizers for giving me an opportunity to be here today amongst all of you. Actually, yesterday was a Gandhi Jayanti, but on 2nd of October, in the entire country as well as outside, people organize several programs on Gandhi Jayanti. And therefore, I think the program has been organized on 3rd of October so that there are less number of programs. But even on Sunday, I appreciate the attendance in this program. मेरी सब में पहले आप सभी को बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। हम जिनकी जयंती समारोह सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं, वो तो एक बहुत ही बड़े आदमी थे। He was a great, not only man, but soul, which the India has got. One of the gem India got over more than 5,000 years. मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि in ancient times, there were basically two kinds of philosophies. One, the philosophy which people were following was metaphysics-led philosophical way of life. And the second was ethics-led philosophical way of life. Now, Gautam Buddha, Mahavira, Confucius, Socrates are known for propagating the ethics-led philosophical way of life. And the others, those who propagated metaphysics-led philosophical way of life, were believing in supernatural power, whereas these philosophers, Confucius in China, Socrates in Greek, Buddha in India, were propagating ethics-led philosophical way of life. Now, in ethics-led philosophical way of life, self and society, the focus is on self and the society. Not only individual transformation, but transformation in the society also. And therefore, there are some ethics which have been defined, and then you have to follow. And Gandhi was one of them. Gandhi was one of them. Friends, I must tell you that today, in our lingo, whoever comes and delivers a speech, whether it is a prime minister or any minister or a corporate head or anybody who comes and gives you sermon, they will talk about one word, and that word is out of the box thinking. You should be a out of the box thinking. Let me tell you that Gandhi was the out of the box thinker. Gandhi was out of the box thinker. You know, Buddha, Mahavira, Confucius, and everybody also talked about the peace, also talked about non-violence. But their non-violence was different, where they were preaching to bring peace within. They were talking of love and compassion. Gandhi also talked about love and compassion and trying to bring peace within. But Gandhi's out-of-the-box thinking was, for the first time in the history of mankind, Gandhi used non-violence as a weapon. Before this, nobody has used non-violence as a weapon. And we have seen and we know the history that how effective that weapon was. Whether it is Dandi March or fasting. Okay, and today's topic is health and nutrition. So we are going to talk about fasting also. So he was a very different kind of person who invented non-violence and used non-violence as a weapon that was very, very effective. And therefore I said that Gandhi was an out-of-box thinker. Number one. Number two, Gandhi was always experimenting. And he says, my life is my message. And his entire life was the experiment. And he did experiment in his entire life. And today, in the world, in the modern world, in the 21st century, new modern world, we all are talking about experiential learning. We are using different words for that. But everywhere we are talking about experiential learning. Unless and until I experience, I am not going to learn. Now everybody is talking about empowering. What is empowering? Empowering is you are taking your own decision on the basis of experiences you had, on the basis of reflections you had. So the whole concept in education, we are talking about empowering. Empowering the young people means asking them to take charge of their own life through their experiences, through their wisdom, through their reflections. You will learn to reflect only when you will experiment. And Gandhi experimented throughout in his life. And then only he has preached. We get so many wonderful speakers today, but they only preach. They don't practice. Gandhi was different. First, he was practicing himself, and then he was preaching that this is what my experiences is. And that is the only message one should learn from Gandhi, whether it is health or nutrition or anything for that matter. And my dear friends, the third thing which we must take from him is discipline. For his health and for his nutritional diet, which he experimented a lot for his diet, for his food. But his timetable was fixed. Whatever food he has taken. I am not telling you to follow what exactly the timetable you should follow. But at whatever time you get up, you make your you make your timetable. Gandhi was getting up at early in the morning at 4 o'clock. Gandhi was eating only 3 times a day. So what was the most important thing in his timetable? The most important thing in his timetable is work, of course. You and me are doing work, whatever work we get. Whether it is teaching or typing or whatever. Administration. Whatever work you are doing, he was also doing the work. But apart from that, three things were very, very essential. One is eating food. Second is exercise. And third is prayer. So the morning, first thing which used to start is with prayer. The second is exercise and the third is food. So what kind of pattern Gandhi was following? Prayer, of course, in the morning. For at least 15-20 minutes, the prayer is must. So that you are thanking the God. You are showing gratitude to the nature. You are showing gratitude to the godliness. You are showing gratitude towards the things which the God has created. The first thing is gratitude. Showing gratitude towards others is the thing which every one of us must learn. That is what we have not learned. Show gratitude. So he was doing prayer, thanking God through bhajans or whatever it is, the prayer. And there is importance of prayer in everybody's life, and it makes a difference. Prayer is so powerful, whichever religion you belong to. Religion has nothing to do with prayer. Prayer is independent of religion. We only confuse ourselves and people that no, this is what it is. No. Different methodologies for prayers. religion and prayer are two different things. Simple rule. First is prayer. Second is exercise. Now, what today's doctors are telling us, either you do aerobic or anaerobic or high intensive exercise or a combination of all those three things. Yes, for your body, you need to exercise so that digestion and the functioning of all the muscles of your body, all the bones and everything is proper. So exercise is must. So he was doing exercise every day without any stop. That was his timetable. So this was the second thing was fixed in his timetable. And there are several hundreds of videos which are available on the net today who are talking about all these things. And third thing is, he was a firm believer that for getting energy, you need energy to work. And for getting energy, you need to take food, which you get through nutrition, calories, which your body needs, vitamins. And for that, you need to have a proper food. But when your body needs energy, you can imagine, and you know that neither you need more energy nor you need less energy. If you have less energy, you will not be able to do your work efficiently. If you have more energy, if you pour a water in a cup or a glass, if it is full, even then, if you put a water, what will happen? It will come out, no use. दूध को उतना ही तपाओ, नहीं तो वो ऊपर आ जाएगा, फेस आ जाएगा और बाहर गिरेगा. So he was talking about energy. You need energy, not more, not less, but you need a proper energy which your body requires, which your body gives the signals. If your body is giving a signal for the food which you should take, you should eat that much only. Don't eat more. That is nothing but the signaling system of your body. And therefore, don't have more or don't have less energy. And this energy you get from glucose. Because that glucose goes into your cell. And if that glucose, I'm not talking about science, because this is not a science lecture, but if your glucose goes to your cells and then cells get activated and then the energy is produced. And therefore you need glucose. But that glucose, if it doesn't go to your cell, and if the fat is stopping that, then there is a problem, because your cells are not getting glucose, and therefore you feel that you have less energy. Our body is wonderful. That is what, if you read the experiments, the book which he has written, means he spoke on diet, if you read, you will understand the experiments which he has done with himself to understand. And you see how thin he was. And you know, if you calculate his walk which he had taken in his entire life, of around 79, 80 years, and if you calculate, take the average, so on an average, every day he has walked at least 20 kilometers. Do we walk that much? Even we don't walk 5 kilometers a day. So the third important thing is exercise. And these are the three things which are very, very essential to get not only energy, but positive energy. You get energy through food, through exercise, you manage the proper energy, your insulin is sensitive, your insulin is working proper, your pancreas are working properly, and then that cell is getting proper glucose and therefore you are keeping energy. But if you want to have a positive energy, the third thing, which is prayer, is very, very important. That is what the basic principle of Gandhi. If you read his book, you will understand what kind of experiments he has done, my dear friends. So earlier days, our parents used to tell that early to bed and early to rise keeps you healthy, wealthy, and wise. This is what I have heard throughout my life when I was young. अभी आज के जमाने में तो गुड नाइट बोल ही नहीं सकते हैं. बच्चे को गुड नाइट क्यों हम बोल नहीं सकते, क्योंकि वो सुबह 5 बजे और 6 बजे सोता है. रात भर तो मोबाइल या इसमें इंटरनेट इसमें उसमें ही होता है, तो गुड नाइट बोलने का मौका ही नहीं आता है. तो उनको गुड मॉर्निंग ही बोलना पड़ता है, और डायरेक्ट गुड आफ्टरनून सो के उठने के बाद में. This is just in a lighter vein, but this is what the lifestyle has changed. So Gandhi was following this. क्योंकि गांधी जी 4 बजे उठते थे और रात को 9 बजे सो जाते थे. शाम को 5 बजे खाना खाते थे. अभी डॉक्टर बोलते हैं कि 7 बजे के पहले खाना खाओ. बोलते हैं ना, जिनको जिनको डायबिटीज हो गया उनको सबको पता है कि डॉक्टर बोलते हैं कि आप 7 बजे के पहले खाना खा लो. अभी वो सुबह 7 बजे ब्रेकफास्ट करते थे, 11 बजे लंच करते थे और शाम को 5 बजे वो खाना खाते थे. अच्छा, शाम के खाने में और सुबह के ब्रेकफास्ट में कितना अंतर था? कम से कम 14 घंटे का अंतर था. अब गूगल में जाके टाइप कर लीजिए इंटरमिटेंट फास्टिंग. अब दैट इंटरमिटेंट फास्टिंग दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट ऑल दिस थिंग्स. अगर आपको आपका वजन कम करना है तो आप वॉक कीजिए, एक्सरसाइज कीजिए और इंटरमिटेंट फास्टिंग कीजिए. Now there are videos and there are people, those who are talking scientific, that eat once a week, eat once a day. बस एक बार खाइए. यही बात हो रही है. कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स कम खाइए. सो सारी ये जो बातें है, ये सारे इसका एक्सपेरिमेंट गांधी जी ने किया. बट गांधी जी ने 2 चीज की. एक तो खुद के लिए एक्सपेरिमेंट किया और दूसरा एक्सपेरिमेंट जो गरीब लोग थे, जो विलेजर्स थे, उनके लिए की कि व्हाट काइंड ऑफ अफोर्डेबल फूड दे शुड ईट, व्हाट दे कैन ईट, वो भी उन्होंने डिफाइन किया. सो ऑल द टाइम गांधी जी के मन में गरीबों का विचार था. उन्होंने क्या खाना चाहिए और उनकी हेल्थ कैसी रहेगी. सो दिस early to bed and early to rise keeps you healthy, wealthy, and wise is an age-old saying. Mahatma Gandhi added to that adage about a truly healthy life when he said that we should eat only to get enough energy to work and not for stimulating the taste buds. हमें तो समोसा दिख गया तो एकदम खाने की इच्छा हो जाती है. जलेबी दिखी तो खाने की इच्छा हो जाती है. हमारे जो टेस्ट बड है, बहुत सारा मसाला होगा तो मजा आती है. तो हमारे टेस्ट बड ने हमारी आदतें बिगाड़ दी है. एंड देयरफॉर वी हैव टू सी डॉक्टर्स वेरी ऑफनली. सर दर्द करता है, बुखार आता है, सर्दी खांसी जल्दी हो जाती है. हमको तो पहले ये सुना ही नहीं दिया. मैं तो कहता हूं कि मैंने 60 साल तक कोई डॉक्टर का चेहरा ही नहीं देखा और मेरा फैमिली डॉक्टर ही नहीं है. 60 साल के बाद में मुझे ढूंढना पड़ रहा है डॉक्टर, तो फैमिली डॉक्टर ही नहीं है, क्योंकि हमें ये सब जरूरत नहीं पड़ी। सो गांधी जी ने कहा कि टेस्ट बर्ड से ज्यादा हमें हमारे हेल्थ की ओर ध्यान देना चाहिए। टू हिम टेस्ट वॉज सेकेंडरी। ही अंडरस्टूड that the maya of test often meant कि जो हम टेस्ट करते हैं, वो टेस्ट जो हमारी होती है उसको उन्होंने माया कहा है, और वो माया के आगे हमको जाना होगा। अगर हम माया के आगे नहीं जाएंगे तो फिर कोई हम कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते। एंड देयरफॉर ही वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट टेस्ट बर्ड इज सेकेंडरी। अभी हमारा ऑब्सेशन क्या है? गिवन टुडेज ऑब्सेशन विथ व्हाट टेस्ट्स गुड delivered through processed foods and food chemistry of dubious origin, he may have foreseen how easily human beings could be lured by mere taste. दोस्तों, I read one book. The book's name is Salt, Sugar and Fat. Salt, Sugar and Fat. And in that book, they have told that how these multinational companies, those who are into this food processing, how they optimize your taste bud. So whatever, and there is a profession, and you get a lot of money who just test the food. And when your taste bud gets the ecstasy, that kind of taste, then they finalize, and for which they use a highly abstract mathematical model. You know, whatever we are eating outside, और इसीलिए हम हमारे घर में बोलते हैं कि वो जो मिलता है ना बाहर, वैसा फूड हमें बना के दो। But you know, they use a mathematical model to bring that particular taste. And in almost all the foods, they use sugar. You know, पहले शुगर नहीं थी तब क्या था? ना तुम्हारा शुगर भी नहीं थी और तुम्हारा ये भी नहीं था, गुड़ भी नहीं था, जैगरी 500-600 साल के पहले। तो नेचुरल शुगर हमें जो मिलती थी फ्रूट्स में से, इसमें से, उसमें से, गेहूं के आटे में से भी आपकी इसमें ग्लूकोज जाता है, तो वो होता था। लेकिन हमारी ये मल्टीनेशनल कंपनी ने आदतें बिगाड़ दी। इफ यू रीड दैट बुक यू विल अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इट इज। कोका कोला 22 ग्राम शुगर होती है, एंड दैट ब्रिंग्स अ फैट इन योर बॉडी। ओबीज वगैरह जो होते हैं ना, वो उसी के कारण होते हैं। तो ये जो साइंस है, दैट गांधी वाज trying to understand throughout his life, and then he tried and followed that. In his ashrams, Gandhiji insisted on serving only simply cooked vegetables with very little salt and no masalas, which is called as Sattvic Ahar in our philosophy, that provides good simple nutrition and enough energy for one's routine. Gandhiji's diet consisted of carefully measured tolas of food. Each tola is equivalent to a little over 10 grams. Unlike portions of food now that are measured in kilograms. Unlike portions of food now, as I have said, हम किलोग्राम में कितना किलो, कितना ये, अभी आप ये सारे इंटरमिटेंट फास्टिंग और इसके बारे में सुनोगे तो 100 ग्राम की बात करते हैं, वो किलो की बात नहीं करते। This diet was well thought out and contained goat milk, nuts, and cooked vegetables as close to their naturally available form as possible, with little to no processing. हम तो बहुत सारा प्रोसेसिंग फूड खाते हैं. You read that book and you will understand what it is. Gandhiji also expressed his personal understanding of health and wellness through detailed articles about the healing power of earth, air, water, sun, sky, food, and condiments. He also described the harmful qualities of intoxicants like opium and tobacco. His book, Key to Health, documents his fascinating experiments with and conclusions about the health and food-related practices of his time. It was a time, friends, when modern medicine had just begun making advances in chemistry and surgery and finding new interventions to help the masses. Gandhiji's approach was to resist experts till they were proven right beyond doubt. हम तो कुछ भी मार्केट में नया आ गया कि तुरंत उसको कर लेते हैं, बट वो अनलेस एंड अनटिल वो प्रूवन नहीं है तब तक के नहीं करते. That is what one must learn from Gandhi. He himself experimented before he accepted advice from doctors and experts of those times. Yet, some of his intuitive responses to those modern cures have been right. At the same time, he was known to have respectfully accepted treatments that saved his life. It is not that he has not taken, he has taken, because he was believing in the modern medicine also, sometimes whenever absolutely it is needed. So this is what Gandhi used to follow, friends. And we also need to understand what exactly we need to do. He talked about harmony also. Once a Chinese friend asked Gandhiji how he found peace of mind in turbulence or troublesome times, and his reply was to take to the charkha. Charkha? चरखा के ओर जाके वो हमारा पीस ऑफ माइंड करते थे. दैट वाज मेडिटेशन फॉर देम. द म्यूजिक ऑफ द स्पिनिंग व्हील विल बी ए बाम टू योर सोल. हम बाम लगाते हैं, सर दर्द होता है, तो वो उसका जो म्यूजिक था व्हील का, चरखा का, वही उनके लिए एक सूदिंग इफेक्ट देता था. आई बिलीव दैट द yarn we spin is capable of mending the broken wrap and woof of our life. The charkha is a symbol of non-violence on which all life, if it is to be real life, must be based. He said, thus, Gandhiji's quest for truth and non-violence was also a quest for harmony. Every manifestation of truth must be harmonious in itself and should also promote harmony in the environment. That is what the answer he gave to his Chinese friend. There is harmony in music, and Gandhiji believed and propagated bhakti, a science of emotion and devotion. Friends, today we are talking about emotion, emotional intelligence. We are talking about social intelligence. This is what I read one book on social intelligence. If you read social intelligence, then you will understand the ethics-led philosophical way of life, how it helps you and the society. And therefore, you need to understand and you need to read the book, Emotional Intelligence, the Social Intelligence. You must need to understand what is compassion. And in education, now Peter Singh, since 2015, is talking about compassionate system of framework, which he has brought in education, and he's doing experiment which is working wonderfully well. He's from Harvard. So that compassionate system framework which is being used in education. And artificial intelligence is also talking how to bring that compassion into artificial intelligence. That is what that further future development is, which Gandhiji talked uh, in the 20th century. Bhakti Sangeet and bhajans, which is devotional music, are soothing to the mind. And I think Gandhiji gained tremendous mental strength from them. When Gandhiji started the bhajans, everyone was in tune with him, soothing the nerves and creating an atmosphere of togetherness and happiness. We should make use of Gandhiji's knowledge and his prescriptions for a rudimentary, healthy, and spiritual life. Harmony in action and in consciousness will surely lead to peace and happiness. The contemporary of Gandhiji was Sri Aurobindo. And Sri Aurobindo also talked about integral life. And in integral life, Sri Aurobindo is talking about integral education to each one of us. And in that integral education, he talks about four things. One is physical education. The second is mental education. The third is vital education, and this music and other thing comes in vital education. And the fourth, he talks about psychic and spiritual education. If you get this education, that is nothing but your integral life. And if you understand what Gandhi said and what Sri Aurobindo said, that will make your life. That is what the learning is. But at the same time, as Gandhi experimented with himself, today the entire world is talking about personalized medicine. And for getting that, what suits you and what doesn't suit you, for that you will have to experiment. And that will be the personalized medicine. And I am diabetic. So sometimes, whenever I eat a particular type of food, my sugar level goes down. Then it is maintained. When I eat some other kind of food, and when I don't exercise, my sugar goes up. And therefore I say that you need to experiment with you, what suits you and what doesn't suit you. That depends on you. And you will have to find what suits you. But remember that don't take the food which will generate more energy in you, or don't eat the food that will generate less energy in you. Exactly whatever energy you need, that kind of food, that kind of exercises, and that kind of prayer, whichever prayer you want to. As I have said, there is no relation between the religion and prayer. If you follow these three principles of Gandhi, whatever work you are doing, I am sure you will never see a doctor. You yourself will be a doctor of yours. And therefore, what intermittent fasting they're talking about, if you do 14 hours or 16 hours intermittent fasting, you will find your energy has increased. Your energy than the earlier one, when you were feeling less. I have done this. I have done this experiment for 3 years in my life. And earlier, when I was feeling less energy, I started feeling more energy, the required energy I used to get, even though I started eating only twice a day and nothing in between. That is the energy I have seen in myself. I'm sure whatever I thought and whatever came to my mind today at this time, I just shared with all of you. And you can experiment with you and you will. But taste bud and the sugar, you just read that book, Salt, Sugar and Fat, and your life will be changed. So with this, I wish all of you the very best for your life, and have good food Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. This was very enlightening, and we really learn a lot about our life ethics and whatever we want to change in our life. So thank you very much for enlightening us. So guys, Digi Shiksham, we the Digi Shiksham would like to thank you for giving your precious time and sharing your knowledge. I mean, sharing your time with us. Thanks a lot for our audience for attending this event. We hope you gain knowledge today, and we look forward to seeing you at the next event as well.